Keto desserts. Now, if you're keto for any amount of time, whether it be a month, a week, a year, 10 years, you know about keto desserts. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about when keto desserts are appropriate and when they're not. So when are keto desserts okay? Now, if you're a keto veteran, you've been in this a long time, you can go in and out of ketosis easily, and you know how much your body can take, you know how much your body can handle without getting kicked out of ketosis. So doing a keto dessert, you'll be more able to calibrate things. Another time where keto dessert might be okay is for special occasions. So you have a birthday party, it's Christmas, I don't know, you're going out with friends, that sort of thing. You know, that's fine. Do that. Understand the risks around it, and I'll get into that as well. But if it's just on occasion, just for that occasion, then okay. But we're gonna be careful about how late into our diets we are and how used to being in ketosis we are and our cravings and all of that. And the last one, if you're into baking and you love baking and you're sharing with all of us, then please do. We are always looking for better options for things that we can have. So when should we avoid the keto desserts? Okay, so first thing, if you're a beginner, if you've been in this for a very short time and you haven't learned very much about keto just yet, keto desserts can be very hindering to your progress. So we're going to avoid the keto desserts at first. Another time where we are going to avoid keto desserts are for cravings. So if you're still having cravings, you're going to need to find other ways to take care of that, because a keto dessert is a slippery slope to a failure in your diet. Things that have worked for me as far as cravings, the very first thing I always do if I'm having a craving, I'll get a big glass of water and some apple cider vinegar, a little tablespoon, mix that up, drink it down. I'll do that first. If that doesn't help, I'll go and get some vegetables. I'm going to eat. I need to eat something. So it doesn't matter if I'm out of my eating window or any of that. It doesn't matter. If I'm having cravings, I'll eat a big bowl of salad, or I'll get, some vegetables that were cooked from the day before, whatever it might be, whatever's available. Do make sure things are available to you at all times, especially in the beginning. And that will usually calm down. Just having that fiber will calm down the cravings. Another thing that I do if I'm having cravings, regularly, or I just want something, usually it's just because I'm looking for something to hold in my hand and put in my mouth, I'll get a glass of carbonated water and maybe some lemon, or even more fun, I can't find that here in Italy, but when I was in Canada, they had these carbonated water with flavor, but it was just very light. And so, we called that fun water, and we had that, and that was pretty nice. So it did satisfy that, want for something extra. Last of all, what I'm gonna do if I'm having cravings, I'm gonna get busy. So I know I'm usually bored. So, or go out, just leave the house. That's something else I do often. Just get out, go for a walk, go window shopping, something like that. So yeah, feeding into your cravings with keto desserts is not a great option. So the cravings need to go away, and we need to allow our bodies time to do that and deal with them as they come in another way. Another time we want to avoid the keto desserts is if you're of the mentality that it's okay because it's keto. It's not. It's not okay because it's called keto. We're going to talk a little bit about two things: the sweeteners and the flour base. So the sweeteners, the majority of sweeteners are going to disrupt your gut microbiome. And when you're doing keto for healing, you need that to get, healed as well. That's super important. What's the word? The only two sweeteners I know of are monk fruit and stevia, but you do need to be careful that they're not mixed with other sweeteners as well. So the flour base are usually going to be almond flour comes to mind, of course, coconut flour comes to mind. The flour bases that are allowed for keto are low carb, but they're not zero carb. And the risk of that is it's too easy to overeat something yummy like a dessert that you're missing. especially in the beginning of your keto journey. Like I said, first, if you're having cravings, if you're a beginner, and if you're just doing it because you think it's called keto, it should be fine. Especially at first when you don't know how it feels in your body to be in ketosis, and you don't understand how it feels when something starts going a little bit over the edge. So it's too easy to get kicked out of ketosis, sometimes without even realizing it, and to just not see the benefits of keto very quickly because you're doing all these other keto dessert things or keto snack things. They'll hinder I'm talking too much. I don't know. Also, the amount of carbs that you are allowing yourself per day, whether that be 20 grams, 30, 40, you're taking carbs away and eating less quality foods. So you want to get your 20 or 30 amount of carbs from the vegetables you're eating, and you don't want to have, and you can't do both. So if you're overdoing it with the carbs on the dessert, or you're maxing it out on your keto snacks and desserts, and then you have your vegetables with the extra carbs on the side as well, you're going over your limit. Considering the little amount of carbs that you are able to eat, you should be getting as much healthy vegetables as you can. Last thing, stop scrolling. Yeah. So we all know how that feels to really be craving something, wanting something, and to fall into the trap of scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and looking at all the wonderful things that you could eat and all the wonderful things that you're just salivating, and you're looking at them and you want them so bad. And you could spend like an hour there looking at all the recipes and all the possible things in keto, right? And you think this is fine because it's keto. Sitting there and lustfully staring at food for an hour is not healthy. Okay, it's not good for you. It's not serving you well. It's not natural for us to be looking at so many images of things. And I would, it's called food porn for a reason. And I would liken it to that. It's quite lustful in the way that you're looking at it. I always do revert back to the Bible. Lust and gluttony are, kind of there. And the way that you're looking through those pictures and those images and the chocolate and the cheesecake and the muffins and and the pancakes and all of that, the way that we're looking at those images doesn't feel good, does it? I mean, there's a difference between just seeing something that say, that looks good, let me try that, and the way that we're scrolling through the keto desserts images. This is not to put down anybody that does that, especially those of you who do that for a living. I think that keto desserts have a place. It's just like anything that gives us pleasure in life. There are appropriate and inappropriate ways to use them, and moments that are right and moments that are wrong. So I think that it's the overconsumption, not only in the eating of it, but the looking at it. Our bodies will follow after what we decide to feed ourselves spiritually and mentally. So scrolling and staring and lusting over the food is not helping you to follow your long-term keto and health goals. I'm going to finish off just reading 2 or 3 verses that I found in the Bible. Okay, I just want to say here, I'm not this super religious person at all, and actually I haven't been for most of my adult life, but there's that fascinating thing in the Bible where you can find just about every subject, everything you're talking about, you can find some real wisdom there. And I think that probably from being a little older or whatever it is, I have certainly discovered the wisdom in looking there and seeing what's been written, and oftentimes I've been quite surprised by it. So I'm just going to read 3 verses. 1 Corinthians 10, verse 31. And it says, I do also read the original King James Version, just because I've always read that one since I was little at church, and I feel weird reading another one. But you can look it up in your version as well. Whether therefore you eat or drink or whatever you do it all to the glory of God. So I take that as meaning that if your life is going to give God glory, what you eat and drink is going to affect that. So of course, even we see that our performance changes, how we think changes, our mood changes based on how we eat. And so to give God glory in our lives means to be doing what He put us here to do, and we can't do that if our minds are not, if our bodies are not healthy, and if we are not eating, drinking correctly. Proverbs 23, verse 1 and 3. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before you, and put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. Yeah. I think it was pretty self-explanatory what I just read. Third verse I wanted to read was Philippians 3:19, and it says, whose end is destruction, whose God is their belly, and whose glory is in their shame, who mind earthly things. You don't want your belly to be your God, especially if you're not even mindful of it. That was my take on my experience throughout all the years of doing keto with the whole keto dessert thing. So I know what it's like. I've done it. I've tried the keto desserts. They're never as good as, the real sugar and all of that. Anyway, we keep trying to substitute something, but I think that we're just better off without it. I never want to put anybody down. I never want to talk in a way that might be judgmental. This is definitely based on my own experience, but I want people who might be starting off on keto to be aware that the keto dessert route is kind of a slippery slope. And I wanted to make it clear when keto desserts can be, something that you integrate, but they shouldn't be something that take over your keto journey. And for the Christians out there and the people, anyway, forgot my, I hope my sound didn't turn too bad, because I'm not going over that all again. And for the Christians out there, for the people who, want to be following God's word and doing their life the way that God meant for them, you were not meant to be controlled by what you eat, and you were not meant to worship your belly. So be encouraged. You can do this thing. I think it's important to stay in communion with others and stay in communion with God. Thank you for being here with me today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.